y equals -2, absolute value x minus 3 plus 4. Okay, if you remember the original absolute value problem, it's just a v. It has a slope of 1 and it's pointing up. Okay, so if we are going to look at this one right here, we recall the plus 4 is going to make this original v go up 4. It's going to make this minus 3, it's going to make it the opposite, so it's going to make it go to the right 3, and this is going to control the slope. All right, so we're going to start in the middle. We're going to, first of all, it doesn't matter which one we go first, I'm going to go to the right 3 and then up 4. Okay, and then I generally like to label that v for the vertex. Now we're going to follow the slope. So from here, if the slope is -2, we're going to go down 2 over 1, down 2 over 1. Now I'm going to go back to the v, and now I'm going to go down 2 over 1 the other way. So down 2 over 1, down 2 over 1, and that creates my v. Okay, number 2, we have y equals, whoops, we got a couple absolute values going on here. Absolute value of x plus 2. Again, it's going to look like a v. We're going to discuss the different features. There's nothing on the outside, so it's not going to move up or down. This plus 2 on the inside is going to make it move the opposite, so it's going to make it go to the left 2. And then there's no number in front of here, so my slope is just going to be 1. Okay, so we're going to start in the middle. We're going to go to the left 2, and that is it. We're going to put a dot there, and let's call it v. Now we know the slope is 1, so I'm going to go up 1, over 1, up 1, over 1. Now we're going to go back to the v, and we're going to go up 1, over 1 in the other direction. So up 1, over 1, up 1, over 1. Notice then that v is created, and that would be what my graph looks like. Okay, number 3, solve for x. We remember when we have an absolute value, the number inside could be positive or negative, so x could equal 3, or x could equal -3, and that's all we'd have to do for that one. Okay, for number 4, when it says to solve for x, we want to get the bars or the absolute value symbols by themselves first. So what we are going to do is, first of all, start by adding 1 to both sides, just like we would a normal equation. So I'm going to have 2 absolute value x plus 3 is equal to 10. Okay, the next thing we're going to do is divide both sides by 2. So I'm going to get the absolute value of x plus 3 is equal to 5. Now from here, we know what's inside could be positive or negative. So x plus 3 could equal 5, and x plus 3 could equal -5. And now we're going to go ahead and solve each of these equations. So we'll get x equals 2, and on this one, we'll get x equals -8. So those would be my 2 answers. All right, number 5, we're going to solve and graph, and we have absolute values. We have learned that we're going to write 2 different inequalities. We'll have x plus 2 is less than or equal to 7, or x plus 2 is greater than or equal to -7. Okay, and so we are going to go ahead and solve these. I'll subtract 2. I'll get x is less than or equal to 5. And then on this one, if we subtract 2, we'll get x is greater than or equal to -9. So if I put -9 on my number line, we're going to put 5 on the number line. They're both going to get closed circles because of the equal sign. Okay, we need to be less than 5, so I'm going to be heading in to the left, and greater than -9, which is heading to the right. So they're going to connect, which means this would be an AND statement. That would be my answer. Okay, this next one, we're going to still solve and graph. We're going to write 2 equations, but before we write the 2 equations, we do need to get this x minus 4 all by itself. So I'm going to just come down here and write my information. Okay, so the first thing we want to do is subtract 1 from both sides. We're going to get 3 absolute value x minus 4 is greater than 9. Next thing we need to do is get rid of that 3. So we'll have absolute value x minus 4 greater than 3. Now I get to write 2 equations, or 2 inequalities. So we're going to have x minus 4 greater than 3. My other one will be x minus 4 is less than -3. So we're going to add 4 to both sides. I'll get x is greater than 7. And then on this one, we'll add 4. I'll get x is less than 1. Okay, now let's just go ahead and graph those. We have 1 and 7, so 1 will go on the left, 7 will go on the right. They're both going to get open circles because there's no equal signs in those problems. Okay, greater than 7 would be to the right, less than 1 would be to the left. Since we have 2 separate graphs, this will be an OR problem. So there we go.